Well, hello and welcome back to JP Gaming and our KSP hard mode Super Duper Trooper series, where I'm trying to unlock the whole tech tree using only 10% of the science gain that is available in the game. And of course we have some other rules, like I'm not allowed to leave Kerbin's own little system with any Kerbals. So I'm only allowed to use probes for any other planet or moon that is around any other planet than Kerbin itself. And today we are actually going to Eve. So I've started off by just placing down all the science experiments and of course a probe core. So we have something that can, well, control this whole thing. I also put on 2 different antennas on this thing because I wanted one antenna to always be, well, extended. So I put down the one that is like always extended. I can't remember what it was called. And then another one that is a bit more powerful, and that's going to be helping us get that contact all the way back to the KSC from Eve. And since I don't have any kind of protective shield or fairing type thing unlocked yet, we actually had to launch this thing without any fairing, which I will admit, it doesn't look too good. But it worked. And since this was a fairly small payload, I didn't bring the Science Junior, and of course we messed up the launch there a little bit, did a flip, but I packed enough fuel that I could feel safe. Even doing that flip, we had no problem getting into orbit and getting all the way to Eve. But yes, since this is a quite small payload, like I said, I didn't bring the Science Junior because that's very heavy, and of course you can only do it once. And it's more one of those experiments that you want to bring back, because you don't get a lot of science when you transmit the science from either a Science Junior or a Mystery Goo, and both of those of course need to be restored, or you can only use them once. So it's really something that I want to bring back with me. So I think that'll have to be for another time, when we might do a return mission from Eve with only probes, that is. And yeah, that would be kind of interesting. I've actually only done I think I've done 2 return missions from Eve, both using rockets. And it would be kind of interesting trying to do it with a probe instead, and doing it maybe with a plane, maybe with some kind of space plane thingy. I know it can be done. I have seen it before. So it would be interesting trying that out, but of course that would have to deal with a lot of trial and error, because you don't want to get stranded on Eve. It is very difficult getting anywhere. But yeah, I think we could manage something. Anyways, we have now gotten an encounter with Eve. It wasn't too hard, although I don't know if you can see it right now, but the ship is kind of twisting a little bit. So I had to actually sit down and throughout this whole burn, I couldn't time warp or anything. I had to just sit there and try and counter steer the offset it was trying to get at all the time, because this ship was actually not that well balanced. I don't know why it was that unbalanced. It didn't feel like it should be, but then again, I don't have any reaction control units at all on this thing, and that is actually something that I'm trying to kind of prioritize right now, getting those reaction control units, because when building very light crafts, if they're even unbalanced by a little bit, that can, well, affect, like now when I was trying to do a long burn, it can affect that quite a lot, since you're doing that long burn, and if you're just burning off to the side a little bit for 1,000 meters per second, that actually has quite a large impact at the end. So yeah, I would really like to get those reaction control units so I could hopefully do this a little bit better. And now we have arrived at Eve, and yeah, we're just taking the science from space high above, And let's see, yeah. And now we're getting into the thick of it. And I think, did I? No, yeah, I didn't have any like reaction, or I didn't have any relays or antennas or anything on that other part of the craft, on the transfer stage, so to speak. So yeah, I actually decided to just burn as much as I could before entering the atmosphere, but then I accidentally decoupled the bottom stage while it was like right behind me. So yeah, it kind of joined me in here through the atmosphere and didn't actually blow up. I was very like confused about that, but that actually made us slow down a bunch more because I still had fuel left in that stage, so that just burned throughout there. I don't know if you could have seen that little plume with all that plasma just ripping through past my craft. But now, yeah, we managed to get through the atmosphere without any problems. Landing on Eve isn't that hard as long as you have a heat shield and you like match the height of where you're coming in pretty well. Because of course you want to stay up in the upper parts of the atmosphere as long as possible, just burning off speed before you get into the thick of it. Because when you get in there, yeah, it can burn you up pretty fast. But yeah, we landed here, no problem whatsoever. Of course, it does take some time getting down to the surface, but that was no big issue really. We could coast for most of that way and then just open that one single parachute, because of course the atmosphere is so thick on Eve that you don't really need more than one parachute, especially not for something small as this. And now we got a little bit of extra science here, so I actually went ahead and bought those reaction control units for that science. But that is gonna be it for today's episode, so thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.